Sunny ways, my friends. Sunny ways.
You sneaky. You're running as an outsider.
I am an outsider.
We have recently switched to drinking water bottles out of water out of when we have water bottles out of plastic. Away from plastic towards paper, like drink box water bottles. So that.
Well, Lottie frickin' God!
You're ready to fight, aren't you? I can feel
I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister.
Is this true?
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
Mr. Prime Minister, will there always be a Canada?
There will always be a Canada.
All right, elbows up.
Elbows up.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
So the answer to that is to stop being stupid.
My great pleasure to introduce my husband, the Prime Minister who will make Canada strong. And Canada full!
I can't do it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Thank you. It will be an honor to continue to fight for you and to be a champion of your cause as we go forward.
Let's fucking go.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. Welcome to Unhinged Fringe for its maiden voyage out of this gate. I don't know if you guys notice I'm being joined tonight. The triumphant return of Celtic Canuck.
She is Celtic here.
Welcome back. It's so, I got to say before we start the show, how happy I am to see you back on YouTube.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here.
It's been a little bad, like a little lonely without you. There's been a voice missing, and it's good to have you back. I think that this audience could definitely agree it's good to have you back, and I'm glad we were able to work something out with YouTube to bring you back at least once a week so people could hear what they need to hear from the Celtic Canucks. So welcome back. I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you very much. I'm seeing a lot of familiar names in the audience there. I missed you guys. How's it going?
Let's get started off with a good old-fashioned roll call while people pour in. We want to make sure we give people a chance to get in here before we start the show, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know where you're watching from. If it's your first show, let us know in the chat. Just a reminder, since we're at the end of the month, folks, still, it's not August 1st yet, so all super chats, all merch purchases, all memberships, everything going towards Texas flood relief victims. So get them in tonight. If we hit 1,000 likes in the stream, I'll also do a giveaway tonight. So make sure to hit that thumbs up. Let's get the old roll call going. We've got Creston Jedi Knight coming from South Florida. A lot of praise to Celtic coming into the chat. I can't even get to the roll call. We got everybody jumping in here. We got Nelson Cade coming in from New Brunswick. Kathy joining us from Texas. MA coming in from New Brunswick as well. We got Aaron Morrison with Celtic. Again, they're coming in from Red Deer. We've got Dude coming in from Grand Prairie, Alberta. Who else we got? We got Lauren in from Red Deer as well. Everybody's saying welcome back to the Celtic Canuck. What a hero's welcome for you, Celtic. It's good to have you in here.
It's awesome.
Keep It Metal coming in from Saskatoon. We've got Dingo. CBC loves a Crotchley from Manitoba. Welcome in. We got Lynn coming in from Calgary. David Brewer joining us from Springfield, Missouri, USA. Welcome in. We got Mr. Biggs coming in from Edmonton. We got Charles joining us from Montana. We got George coming in from Penhold, Alberta. We've got Eva joining us from BC. We got Kathy. We got Kathy from Texas earlier. Mike coming in from Victoria. Mystical joining us from an undisclosed CIA black site. Hopefully you're well protected. We've got Autism coming in from Calgary. God, that's a heck of a name. Joel, Jolie, I hope I'm pronouncing that right in some means. Nice to hear from Celtic. It says Calgary loves you. Welcome into the stream. Chris joining us from Calgary as well. We've got Ingrid and Charlie joining us from Okotoks, Alberta. My favorite mod named Ingrid. What an amazing...
Hey, Ingrid.
What an amazing job our mods do. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Susie's joining us from Michigan. Welcome in. We got Riley coming in from St. Thomas, Ontario. Lee joining us from Edmonton. Kazuki from Mississauga. Squid's joining us from Calgary. Guys, we got to get on with the show. I got to get caught up. Sorry if I missed out on everybody. We've got almost 700 viewers joining us in the live stream right now. So again, hit that like button, folks. If we get 1,000 likes, we're doing a giveaway tonight. Trevor Walker, honorable mention with the 279 super sticker. Thank you so much. Speaking of honorable mentions, Crystal Savage, $5 super chat. Hello from beautiful Spruce Grove. My husband and his parents are from Ayrshire, Scotland. I'm not sure, Celtic, you're from
Ayrshire.
Ayrshire. Is that near Glasgow?
Oh, everything's near Glasgow. It's so small. Come on.
I only know Glasgow and a few small towns. My father's from Glasgow, but I'm not well versed as you would be with the landscape. We got Lulu Bell with a $6.99 super chat as well. Snow with a $2 super chat. Welcome back, Celtic Connect. Great to have you in here. Great to have everybody in here. Let's get on the show. First, Celtic, let's talk about, as much as we can at least, as to what happened with YouTube. Where'd you go?
They decided they didn't like me anymore. I don't know why. I said something they didn't like. They were not impressed. I got a very vague email, and when you ask, but why, they point you to the terms of service and guidelines. It's all very vague. I don't know why. I don't know why.
So there was no formal reason given.
No.
No explanation. Just we yanked the plug. And it was non-appealable. Is that correct?
Non-appealable. Your channel's banned, and not only is your channel banned, you're not allowed to access YouTube.
Unbelievable. So you can't, and you had premium, I believe you said, when you got canceled.
Funny part, they sent me because I canceled premium right away. I can't access YouTube. What am I going to pay for premium for? So I get a little message popping up asking, why are you canceling premium?
Why wouldn't you keep paying us for no ads when you can't watch our videos at all?
And my response was, yes, we do like to know why, don't we? These things happen.
You know, it's funny. I got booted from Facebook recently, and it's kind of the same thing. Like now they do facial recognition and can't even get a secondary account. So unacceptable Fringe, everything was ripped down from Facebook. No reason given as well. It seems censorship is kind of.
They point you to a vague terms of service, and you're supposed to dig through that and think about every video you ever made and everything you ever said, and could any of it apply to that vague terms of service? So.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Doug Gibson, $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. I've got Peener saying here, if you're a truth teller, it's only a matter of time before they try to silence you. I mean, that's, if you ever watched Celtic's videos, truth be told, I mean, they were fantastic, and they were more like in-depth docuseries videos. Like you did a lot of work on those videos.
It's sad that they've gone. You know, you put all those hours in, they just don't exist anymore.
Unbelievable. Well, it's good to have you in. It's good to have you here. Now we can talk about.
I appreciate being here.
Local stuff. Well, it wouldn't exist without you. So let's get into tonight's discussion. There's a few things I want to talk about. First off, I know you didn't join me last night for our surprise live stream when we were talking about and broadcasting Pierre's debate.
I watched a little bit, but the audio, there was something going on with the audio.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, like a lot of people thought that I was pulling one over their eyes when it came to the audio. It was something on their end, and you always noticed that whenever Pierre was speaking, the volume got considerably louder. And then as soon as everybody else got on, it was either people who didn't know how to use a microphone or else whoever was in charge.
I think you're right there, because he knows how to project his voice. He showed them all up for that very reason. He was polished. He stood up. He knew how to project his voice. He knew how to throw it out there, fill the room. Everybody else was mumbling. Some of them, just nervous.
And they had that
felt like a town hall meeting of nervous council members, and then there was Pierre Poilievre.
I said during the stream, it felt like a PTA meeting or something. Like it didn't. That wasn't a debate. It was more tell us your platforms, and then everybody have a good night. unless I missed something.
No, you didn't. You didn't. The volume did not affect your understanding.
One of the things I was seeing today that I gotta get your opinion on. I want to hear from the audience too. Gator Gum, not necessarily my favorite Twitter account, but pointing out, why would the Conservative Party be busing people from out of province to fill seats for Pierre? What a strange situation. So there was a lot of cheering last night. We heard boos whenever Pierre's neighbor was talking about Mark Carney.
Did you notice he didn't even identify himself as a liberal until like the first question? In his entire introduction, he did not use the word liberal at all.
At all, until he was praising Mark Carney. But Garnet Jennis tweeting out here, we've got a bus going to see Pierre and Camrose on Tuesday. If you live in or near Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan, sign up now to secure your spot. Space is limited. So they bust out a bunch of people to make noise and cheer for Pierre. It kind of reminds me of the Edmonton rally that Pierre had. Now, don't get me wrong, I live streamed that rally. There was thousands upon thousands of people there. But when you walked inside, like all the MPs were there, and I kind of said, rightfully so, they should be. Alberta MPs that can make
thing is, he's not running nationally this time, though, is he?
No, and it makes me question.
For Alberta, that should be Albertans.
Yeah, so why does Garnet Jennis feel that, like, this is where I start to question, I think Pierre will get the vote. We've talked about this before. Even you and I have talked about this off camera, where I've said I think, he'll get 60% of the vote is my guess, in or around. So he's definitely going to get a win after last night. I mean, it's like stealing candy from a baby at this point. But my question is why do they need to bust people in? And doesn't that make it look like maybe Pierre doesn't have the lead they think he has if they need to bring people in? Or is this just a case of maybe I'm misunderstanding and it was just extra support?
There is no way they couldn't fill that place with Pierre supporters. Not a chance. I know other candidates have some support, but there's enough people support Pierre to have filled that. And honestly, it sends the wrong message. Like, Pierre is asking to represent Alberta right now. You should be speaking to Albertans.
Well, and so Fort Saskatchewan, Sherwood Park. So this is Garnet Jennis's riding. It's north of it's the northern. Sherwood Park is like North Edmonton. Fort Saskatchewan again is north of Edmonton, right on the border, I believe, between Calgary between Alberta and Saskatchewan. So he's bringing in people from his riding, but again, that's about an hour and a half to 2 hours away from Camrose. So again, I get it if people just wanted to go and support, but
it doesn't feel like it was support, though, does it? It's almost
they were brought in for noisemakers, according to some people. So why do they feel the need? Like, do they not believe that Pierre has enough support, or that he was going to get the support? And we heard, and the reason I bring this up, we heard some hecklers cheering Pierre on during the debate last night. So I don't know. It's a
horrible sign if they do believe that.
It's here's Trench. Oh, it's 72 kilometers away. Okay, I thought Camrose was a little further. You'll have to forgive me. I just moved into Spruce Grove a couple months ago, so the geography is still. I thought it was closer to an hour and a half.
They are on it. Thank you, Trench.
I appreciate it. We've got Moira coming in saying not one of those candidates debating even had a platform and fell short of common sense.
I have to say my favorite was the NDP. The first thing she said in response to a question was, I think you all need to check your privilege. And it was all downhill from there.
It was that the Indigenous woman that was
oh my
white shaming everybody?
Yes.
Okay. See, you'll have to forgive me, folks. Like, while we were watching this debate last night, I don't know about the rest of you, I almost fell asleep. Like, it was a snooze fest. It was absolutely ridiculous. Jay Smoke saying, is everyone email Danielle Smith telling her to start biting instead of barking? Are we on to Danielle already? Oh, come on, guys. Chat's all over the place. Mystical saying, I checked my privilege, still works, thank you. That's a gooder. That's a gooder.
Catherine Swampy. There's a name for you.
That's
the NDP.
Catherine Swampy.
Catherine Swampy.
Oh, it was just, I've often showed my good friend Mike Freedom Honey because he's got the he's got the campaign going on where there was that board of OSB wood that was sitting outside on his property, and he was here. Let's bring it up here. And he keeps saying that he'd rather vote for a sheet of OSB than any politician because he just doesn't feel that any of them are worthy of it. So right after the debate, he says, WTF was that? What kind of bullshit debate was that? Sometimes you get the bum's rush before ever hitting the debate stage. Sadly, the sheet of OSB wasn't able to make the debate due to something technical and had nothing to do with calling the angry lesbian a lesbian. Nor drinking a few too many beers and proceeding to take a piss in some kind of planter. No idea what happened. Vote OSB. So, I mean, like...
Somebody took a piss in a planter?
Apparently it had something to do with OSB, but it's it does make me bring up, because Mike does live in the riding, that when Garnet Genis is bussing out, and again, I'm not going to criticize too much because I don't know how big the bus was. He says seats were limited, so could have been a short bus. I don't know. But why are they bussing people in if people are engaged, if people in Camrose are interested? I know we have some people who live in the riding in the chat, or at least that watch the channel. Ingrid saying Swampy was cringe to watch. Lori, I was there last night. There we go. And I was so bored. It was ridiculous. Could they not have turned the lights on?
Yeah, I agree with Sharon. Last night's debate was very high schoolers. Yeah, look, you had a whole row of completely unpolished. Some were too loud, some were too quiet. They were all very nervous. And then in the middle, you have Pierre standing up, completely polished. He's used to speaking in Parliament and everywhere else. Mm-hmm. It was two completely different leagues. It really was. Performance-wise, because he's learned to be a performer.
It really spoke volumes to me on the state of our politics in this country. Like, as an Albertan, I was looking at it going, this is why, again, and I know people hear me say it all the time with everything that happens. They think I'm so negative Canada right now, but this is why provinces like Alberta are talking about going. Like the fact that Pierre has to endure this and sit through this because of a longest ballot screwing him over in Carleton, amidst other things, is absolutely preposterous. I think that if Damien Carrick was willing to give up his seat, it should just be, if he, they have a right to pass it on, as long as the candidate agrees and Pierre agrees, that they don't have to waste millions of dollars on a by-election, because there's no way in hell Pierre is going to lose this. So it's just really a waste of time. And we saw that last night. It's a three-ring circus with our politics.
They're hoping for the off chance, though, aren't they? Because we thought there was no way in hell he would lose Carleton. We thought there was no way in hell Carney would be, well, we kind of knew Carney would be Prime Minister. We've seen enough to know better, but we didn't expect, and we don't expect again. And it's easy to say, well, you should know he's going to run away with it. Why can't we just give it to him? But while that opportunity exists for them to throw that spanner in the works, they're going to keep chucking them. What, it just takes one to land.
So there's two things I want to address here, because I keep seeing it pop up in the chat. David Brewer mentioning Trudeau was with Katy Perry.
Oh, yeah, here he's dating an astronaut now.
So, well, the two astronauts dating each other according to their brainstems. We'll get into that in 1 second, David. Bradley with the $5 super chat. The Wednesday Night Live is amazing, and I think Danielle has to force independence. I want to talk about that too. First, I'm gonna give my 2 cents on why I think Trudeau was sitting with Katy Perry. I don't believe they're dating. I think everybody forgets that Trudeau's son is... he's into music right now. He's going to be a musician, or he is a musician. I guess.
Yeah.
My guess is he's probably just trying to spread some influence. I don't see, like, Trudeau knows a lot of celebrities.
Contacts.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time around them. I mean, do
you know what? I fully encourage it. Otherwise, the boy might go into politics. So I think we should all strongly encourage his musical career.
Get that boy a Grammy.
Get ahead of it.
Get him out. Get him some auto-tune out on a stage and just let him live his best life.
I will send money to his GoFundMe for his musical career.
Yeah, there you go. And and they're saying, John's saying he knows a lot about bathtubs too, apparently. I mean, Katy Perry, I wouldn't put it past her. I mean, but she also used to be married to Russell Brand. And Russell Brand hates Trudeau. Could you imagine how Russell would feel if Katie was dating Justin Trudeau? I don't know. I think I think he'd probably blow a gasket.
I don't know. He's how to describe it, he's kind of moved on from who he was, and he's created this whole new, way of being for himself. He seems to have transitioned very nicely into the next phase of he's not, party boy anymore.
I gotta say, it really bothers me that every time I see a picture of this guy enjoying life, it always hits the question, why does he get to move on?
It's not right.
And he gets to enjoy himself and be rich and no
consequences.
Punishment. Yep, nothing. No court dates. No. Meanwhile, Tamara Leach and Chris Barber are facing 7 and 8 years in jail.
Still protected around the clock.
Yeah, we got a video coming up about that tomorrow. Let's talk about Danielle, because a lot of people are mentioning Danielle in the chat, and I know, Celtic, you follow what's going on in Alberta with Danielle. A lot of people are saying she has to force independence, and I brought out a video today where I was talking a bit about that, saying that, look, we all know that she can't, just come out and say, I support a fully independent Alberta. It's time to leave. Let's separate. Essentially, her mandate is to act within the best interests of Albertans. And she's even stated, until a citizen-led initiative gives me a different mandate, this is where I have to stay. But one of the things I brought up in that video is that a threat she's made to Mark Carney. In fact, she said just before the election, it was to whoever became prime minister, whether it was Carney or Pierre, that they had 6 months to get their act together, or else you were going to have a national unity crisis. I think after what we saw with this premier's meeting,
she could do, but they would be a bit extreme,
Well, so what I was saying today was that it would be nice if she just went back to Carney and said, look, we just had this premier's meeting. Wab Kinew just showed up and said, Doug Ford, Scott Moe and Danielle wanted to do this pipeline to Ontario. And then Wab Kinew shows up and says, nope, Manitoba's not going to allow it. You have to consult First Nations. And then Mark Carney said, you're right. In fact, no projects will move forward now unless everyone agrees, meaning First Nations are consulted as well. So that essentially he can wash his hands of it. So shouldn't at this point Danielle take a stance to at least say, look, I can't help what happens to my province at this point. I've tried to work with you guys.
Blame places like Saskatchewan and Alberta for trying to get the lifeboats ready. Canada is right now the Titanic, and globalism is the iceberg. And before the impact fully happens, places like Alberta, Saskatchewan, well, they're preparing lifeboats. Then at least somebody will be saved, And you really can't blame them.
Diego's got a good point. Danielle's trying to make it easier for Albertans to vote to leave. If you guys saw today's video, it's now in a court hearing. The government has pushed back with a court mandate to question the question, if they're even going to move forward with it. Now, I do have an update on that.
I want it to happen, but I would understand if it did. And I would move to Alberta.
Well, you should. I mean, the shows would be easier.
It's on my list.
I think now, just for an update for anybody who's here, I will be putting out a video on it. I actually spoke with Alberta Prosperity Project this afternoon. They've rushed a court date to be heard by a judge on the APP contract. They're actually scheduled to be in court this following, not Thursday tomorrow, but a week Thursday. Eva Chipiuk will be there alongside, I believe, Jeffrey Rath and others, Mitch Silvestri as well, to protest the court and their red tape with getting this question approved. They got to get things moving. So again, I'll have a more in-depth video on that coming out, but we always knew there was going to be hurdles to cross when it came to independence in Alberta. But like you say, Celtic, when you're talking
Canada's
about
Titanic, we can't turn this thing around, and it would have to be a very wide turn with a ship this big. So it's going to take some time.
So what do you think Danielle should do with Mark Carney then? And instead of, because a lot of Albertans are starting to get testy, saying, look, you've shown as much as you can that you're trying to work with them, but they keep dodging at every attempt.
Honestly, I think she needs to go back to being the ballsy woman that we love. We love it when she stands up and says, no, we're not standing for it. We're not doing that. We love that, Danielle Smith. Right now, honestly, she's leaning too far toward diplomacy. It's not going to work with Carney. He has his own agenda. He is going to try and foist her off to the side for as long as possible. It's just going to be a series of committees and meetings, and that's not going to get it done. Every committee and meeting is just another stall because both sides know the situation we're in. Alberta knows what it wants. Everything else is just a stall tactic.
Yeah, and it's funny because I actually seen in the comments today, somebody said that they loved Danielle until recently when they seen that she was trying to do a deal with Doug Ford. Then she said, okay, I'm out. She clearly doesn't want Alberta to leave. She's trying to get in bed with, closet liberals. I understand all those
She's
claims,
trying
but
diplomacy, which
she's trying diplomacy. She has from day one. In fact, if everybody remembers when Mark Carney first got in, she was the only one going to the US to try and make deals. She was only trying to make connections and negotiate diplomacy for Canada on Alberta's behalf of tariffs, to say, look, not just Alberta, but the whole country should be void of tariffs. You need our energy. Let's find a way to work together. Meanwhile, Mark Carney took his sweet time getting down there. But I think that the time has come that Mark Carney, as well as other premiers, as well as Team Canada, have shown Danielle and Alberta that nothing's going to give. There is going to be no change. There's no projects being announced. There's no work going forward. It's all just cannon fodder.
And in the meantime, they're still trying to screw you at every turn when it comes to the natural gas and the energy and the everything else.
Well, we just lost, I think
no
it was
concessions
over
whatsoever. And no, Carney runs to Europe and Europe just ignores Carney because now they've made a $750 billion deal with Trump.
Well, and apparently Asia just made a deal for liquid natural gas from the United States. That's going to cost us almost.
I thought he was a Trump whisperer. What the hell?
Yeah, I think it's $100 billion we're losing in a liquid natural gas contract because Trump took it up. And people got really mad the other day when I said Trump steals deals.
You mean that liquid natural gas the Liberals said there was no market for?
There was, and that's just it. Trudeau said there's no market when Germany came knocking. But now the U.S. has taken a deal, and people got mad when I said Trump steals it away from Canada. What I more meant was a steal like in football. Like, he caught the ball and took it running because Canada didn't want it. We didn't want it. We very firmly said, yeah, there's no market and we're not going to bother. We're going to keep our stuff in the ground. We're not going to move forward. So naturally it's there for the taking. I just don't understand how anybody can back Mark Carney at this point and say he's doing a good job or that he has Canada's best interests at heart or that he could even negotiate with Trump.
It's the exact same agenda as it's always been, as it's been for the last decade. It's same team, different mascot.
Well, not only it's nothing's going to change. In fact, it's going to get worse. I think it's going to get a lot worse. I got to get to a few honorable mentions, then we'll catch up here. Jay Peterson, $5 super chat. Sherwood Park is directly east of Edmonton, my bad, and Fort Saskatchewan is directly northeast of Edmonton. Thank you. Bradley, $5 super chat. Oh, we got that one earlier. Sorry. Somebody became a new member. Thank you so much for joining the Patriots Club. Scott Hayes with a $4 super sticker. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Bradley Wilcox, she needs to push because it's time. It's funny. The other question got approved in no time, meaning Tom Lakazuk's alternative petition, but this one gets delayed. So yeah, and that's where people are starting to get frustrated. Jancor gifting an unacceptable fringe membership to the Patriots Club. Welcome to our new member, as well as Carson El Gringo Grande gifting 10 unacceptable fringe memberships to the Patriots Club. Welcome to all of our new members. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Again, all of that is going to Texas flood victims. You guys have until the end of the show to get those super chats in. All super chats, all merch purchased. I'll have a total for Friday night's live stream. You guys are knocking it out of the park, though. And again, 1,000 likes, guys. We're doing a giveaway tonight. Make sure to hit that like. Can somebody update me as to where the likes are on the stream? Let's see that get in the chat. Matt saying same team, different mascot. That's a good quote. Celtic. I'm trying to see how many likes.
527 likes.
Is that what somebody said? 527?
Guys, well, I just refreshed I brought it up on the browser.
Well, there you go. Well, we're halfway there, guys. Let's keep those likes coming in. Again, if we get to 1,000 by the end of the live stream, we'll do a giveaway. Any item from the merch store. Don't have to be a member for that one tonight either. That's just a giveaway to anybody in the chat.
I'm in the chat. I'm just saying.
John saying, or no, somebody said it. Somebody says, sorry, Chad, has your thanks payments been disabled? I see no $ sign to donate. Depends on the device you're on. I think I think iOS has an issue with that because of Google. I think you have to do it from a certain, whether it's cell phone or like it can't be on an Apple iPhone. Apparently, it's got to be from like an Android or desktop, I think, or I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm not a tech guy, but I know some of them disable the super chats. There's something else going on in Alberta that we got to talk about. That I think we should discuss, and then I want to hear from the audience. Sean Foyt, this Christian rock singer. Have you heard a lot about him?
Me?
Yeah.
Are you asking the audience?
No, I'm asking you. Have you heard much about this show?
And from what I understand, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but his crime seems to be being a Christian and having his guitar signed by Trump. And for that, people find him very offensive. I'm not sure if they're offended on the behalf of God or the guitar.
So that's the whole MAGA thing they're talking about here
Pretty
going
much.
into this.
That seems to be the sum of his sins right there.
So Sean Foyt, and again, I'm saying Foyt because that's how the news has said it. I don't know if we're pronouncing that properly. I gotta quote this tweet from Jack Dan. He used to work alongside Gays Against Groomers in the Alberta chapter. Great X account. But he says, let me get this straight. Pardon the pun. You and your tiny bubble of woke believe that a Christian singer who has been to Alberta before is full of hate and should be stopped because its values don't align with yours. Give your head a shake. You, no place for hate types, are the worst. And you seem to be filled with hate yourselves. He says, I'm gay and I have absolutely no problem with Christians wanting to worship. To quote Joey Swoll, you need to do better. Mind your own business. Now down here, you can see this account saying, sounds like there's some interest in letting Sean know how you feel about hate mongers in our country. Join me August 22nd as we peacefully protest. I'm curious.
Well, that kind of sounds like hate mongering, though.
Right?
Hey, everybody, he's going to be here. Let's go. You see, well, that's it, isn't it? You identify somebody as a monster, and then it's okay for everybody to attack them. It's permission. They just choose who to give that permission about every now and then. Sometimes it's your turn, but right now it's Sean's.
So Sean's going to be, this protest, I don't know when Sean's performing in Alberta, but it says the protest is going to be August 22nd at the legislature at 6 p.m. I think we should organize a counter protest for anybody in the area. We'll go counter protest. I'll maybe put that out ahead of time. We'll see what's going on and see if we can counter protest some of these wackos. But they're going to be down at the legislature grounds talking about how much they hate MAGA. Maybe some of the Alberta Independence crowd could get out there and maybe show them what we think about people who have a problem with MAGA. It's not even MAGA. Like you'd mentioned earlier, all that happened was Trump signed his guitar. At least that's all I can find on the guy. He's been kicked out of churches. He's been told that he needs permits to be inside of a church. He's been told he can't perform in certain cities.
How the hell can you need a permit to, well, that's probably the right way to phrase the question, but how the hell do you need a permit to sing songs of praise in a church? When I'm seeing gatherings of people on their knees singing about Allah, and that seems to be just fine. I mean, is it a religious thing, or you don't like his music? What?
I don't know. Charlotte's saying Sean was invited by Premier Smith. So that'll be interesting. Again, I still think we should get a counter protest going. I got to get a few honorable mentions.
It's not a standard if it doesn't apply to everybody. And
right?
I don't get this because this standard does not apply anywhere else but this guy. So you're going to have to explain it to me.
Well, I don't even think I can. Kenny becoming a new member of the Patriots Club. Thank you, Kenny. Jay Peterson, $5 super chat. If the elect officer is successful, this undermines the entire act. Bureaucrats run the province, not government or people of Alberta. I couldn't agree more. A.W. Bennett, $10 super chat. 10 for Texas, supporting the Hill Country. Thank you so much. Are we doing the $10 Texas challenge again? We'll see if people want to jump on the $10 Texas.
What is the $10 Texas challenge?
It was just how many people want to throw in $10, and we see if we can set a record with that. But again, everything's going to Texas tonight, folks.
It sounds like you're doing pretty well for them so far. They should get
so we got a couple thousand so far. And I'll, again, I got to still tally up. Yeah, every little bit helps. I still got to tally up. everything from merch and whatnot. But again, I'm going to be matching dollar for dollar up to 5,000. So we could hit a $10,000 donation by the time this is done. We got Chad with a $10 for Texas super chat. The people that rejected the party, they hated Trudeau and the Liberal Party. Then they said it's okay if the head of the party is changed. It's okay now, like changing your shirt after shitting your pants.
What a Chad!
Chad's being a Chad. So I had no idea that Danielle Smith invited Sean Foyt to Alberta or to the legislature, wherever he's going to be.
Has she made any statements about what's going on with him? Do we?
I'm looking right now. I don't see anything on Danielle's X posts about Sean whatsoever. I don't. I don't see a statement about Sean or what's happening. And again, I've looked over about the last week and a half, ever since everything kind of took off with the churches shutting him out. I know Winnipeg canceled their show. I believe Winnipeg said, we're not having it. We're not going to deal with it. Give it up to the NDPers for that.
What you're actually saying is we're going to submit to the mob outside screaming and shouting and demanding to get away like children while contributing absolutely nothing of any value or sense to society. That's the side we're going to pick consistently.
Well, bend the knee. Totally bend the knee. But that's typical for Winnipeg. And look, I only say that because I grew up there. I know like it's an older population in Winnipeg for the most part, and they're very liberal. The conservatives are starting to get in though. I know.
Why
Brian
after
Palliser,
a certain age? How can you still be?
I don't understand it personally. I think a lot of it. Give me 1 second. We'll get into that. I got to hit up Chris for $10 for 10 for Texas. Thank you so much. I think what part of it is, and part of what I've seen is a lot of what was going around during the election when it came to the liberal boomers, when they were talking about, well, kids just don't understand hard work in this generation and they don't understand sacrifice. This is a generation that, while some of them sold their house for $1 in the 80s because things got really rough with the interest rates, they believe that this is all due to laziness and it's all due to people not working hard enough or investing properly. These are people that, aside from the early 80s, they struggled, but they still, how do I put this without offending those who are actually part of that generation? That generation was able, for example, a mailman could have a job 30 years ago and provide for his family while his wife stayed at home, looked after the kids, and they could still pay their mortgage and afford to go on vacation every year.
Shelter provided for, fed.
And they haven't experienced as much of the government as the younger generation does right now, where rent is $3,000 a month for a tiny 600 square foot apartment, and food is $400 a week. And if you can even find one, or get a job these days, because you're competing with mass immigrants. I mean, oh, right. The mailman, now called the person. The female man.
The non-gender specific delivery.
But it's true. Like, Jancor, what's a vacation? I mean, but that's where we're at right now, is people are saying, I got no livelihood that I can actually afford to do anything. I don't have investments. I don't have the ability to tuck a little away for a rainy day. We're just going check to check all the time. And it seems like the government's always coming up with new taxation models.
It seems like that's how they want it, though, isn't it? I mean, it seems like it's structured for that purpose, to keep us right there on that edge.
Yeah, just keep working and be grateful you live in a democracy, I guess, right? If that's what they want to call it. It's CB Fixes all jumping in. Nenshit and the NDP are going to go ballistic if he's able to show. To have his show in Alberta, I guess he's talking about Sean, on the legislature grounds.
And still nobody's told me what this guy has done.
No, and that's just it, is that they just keep comparing him to MAGA and MAGA, but
what has MAGA done?
I'm looking it up right now and I don't see, well, they haven't done anything. Anything wrong at least, but from what I can see, like, all the news stories are covering him being kicked out of churches, but I don't see anything criminal that he's done. I don't see anything negative that he's done.
Part of the problem, Christianity is a big part of it. in Christianity, like, we're all brothers and sisters under God. Well, there's no room for division and separation and segregation, and the white ones go over there, and the slightly darker ones go over there, and the men go over there, and the women go over there. No, we are all children under God, according to Christianity. Well, obviously the left don't want that. I mean, groups might start talking to each other. We can't have that. They might discover they actually like each other or some things about each other.
It's one of the things that I've always been curious about, because while I'm not an overly practicing religious person, I certainly have my beliefs, but, growing up as a kid, there were Jewish kids, there were Christians, there was one kid in school who was like Jehovah's Witness. Nobody talked about it. Nobody talked about religion.
Faith did not affect your life, and it really
was just
shouldn't. That's a personal, intimate relationship you have with your God.
But
it
nowadays,
doesn't need to affect anybody else's life.
Nowadays, there's such hatred out there towards the Jews, and I don't understand it. I don't understand why all of a sudden that has anything to do with anything. And the other part of it is that whenever somebody's saying it now, you hear people saying, "Well, that's just being racist." It has not. Judaism has nothing to do with race, but it's definitely anti-Semitic, and it's definitely wrong to judge anybody based on their religious beliefs. I just think that, I can't understand in our country why our government for over a year and a half has allowed Muslims to overcrowd the streets with Palestine chants, praying in the middle of the streets, shutting down traffic, blocking bridges, by the way, which the Freedom Convoy faces jail time for now, even though it wasn't even associated with them. But they're brought coffee and donuts and told, "Hey, we sympathize with you guys." They can harass citizens, they can break windows, they can basically do whatever they want, and there's no wrong being done.
They have no, and this is kind of a roundabout. It's going to take me a minute to get through this. They have no competition. You see, you look at the Free Palestine crowd and the Jews, and there's a clear side A and side B, and it's demanded that we pick a side.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to Islam, well, what's the other side that is even an option to pick? That they've said that is an option to pick. They will show the Free Palestine crowd. They will show the Jewish crowd waving their flags in their support. And we're demanded to pick a side. But when it shows Islam, there's no counter to that that's shown to us. We're supposed to just submit to the fact that that's a reality now.
Mm-hmm. Portuguese Pie, another great YouTube channel. Go follow him. $10 super chat, 10 for Texas. Speaking as a mailman, I concur. Impossible to do it without the wife working. Great show as always, Derek, and always great to hear from Celtic again. Thank you so much. Good to have you in. We also got Chad being a Chad with $200 super chat. Very generous. Thank you so much. I was born and raised in Calgary. My grandparents, Northern Ireland, prior to the split in Ireland.
The Irish cousins.
What's happening in the EU is sick. What happened to Indigenous rights? We are truly Indigenous, not crossing the land / ice bridge from northern China before China was a thing. The problem is government's throwing it out the window. Thank you very much again for your generosity. Unbelievably a Chad move. Nonetheless, Bliss and Chains $2 super chat. Just as much a Chad move, I will say. Our greatest shame was turning Jews away in World War II. I just don't understand why it's all of a sudden become such a hot button issue that, again,
because it's demanded that we pick a side. And they they would rather you at this point attack the Jewish population than be against the Palestinian side. We've not got a spate of countries right now recognizing Palestine as its own state, one after the other. The tide is turning, and it's turning on the Jews.
Aaron says, "Oh, they've got a camp. It's us Jutalians." Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. It's my old man always used to tell me that there's 3 arguments in life you're never going to win: religion, politics, and everything else.
Not the truth.
And And it's so surprising to me when Christianity in a Western country is under attack, the way that it is, to the length that it is, and yet no politician, no political leader in Canada is speaking up about it. Like, if somebody was attacking Christianity in America, Donald Trump would be all over this. And he'd be saying, you can't talk bad about God, the church, or anything else. He'd be defending Christianity. So why is it...
If you applied that same thing to any other religion, it would be defended by everybody. Try saying that about the God of any other religion.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling to me that we're told we live in a democracy and a part of what's considered Western culture, that visitors from another country across the ocean are allowed to come in here. They're allowed to burn our flag. They're allowed to chant death to Canada, death to America, free Palestine. And we do nothing about it. And there's no arrests. There's no deportations.
Maybe that is why, though, because we do nothing about it.
Well, I'm starting to think that our government hates Christianity as well, and that our government hates Canadians. I think that government just
I think they're serving a bigger agenda, and this is, it's horrible to say, but this is kind of ultimately, in the big scheme of things, quite irrelevant to them and can be made use of. And they are making use of it. I'm not sure what use they're getting out of this, the way they're doing it, but I guarantee they're getting some. Or it wouldn't be this way. This is exactly how they want it, or it wouldn't be this way. When they really don't want something to be a way, try waving Canadian flags and protesting and parking up some trucks and see what happens.
See, Ron has a good thing here. Carney's killing Canada to appease Quebec over Quebec's dairy tariffs. Yes, but I think, like, when it comes to killing Canada, like, if you're doing replacement by bringing in other immigrants, like, when you get to the immigrant end of it, like, Quebec doesn't want them either. It's not just us, it's not just British Columbia or Alberta or Ontario that says no more.
It's not just
Quebec,
Canada.
No, everybody's done with them. I mean, look what's happening in London, in Europe,
in the UK, in Spain, in Poland, in Hungary. Like,
they're
there is
fed
an
up.
uprising. There is an uprising, and there is also a revival, because as much as you have vilified, and again, they pick somebody, they decide you're going to be the monster that everybody gets to attack. And they picked Christianity for that, and it's had the opposite effect, because there is a revival happening. Church numbers are actually going up. People are picking up the Bible.
Well, I think, and one of the reasons for the discussion of tonight's stream title, I'm going to get into it in 1 second. Because I think there is an uprising that's going to come. Bradley Wilcox, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. The only side I'm picking is Alberta Independence, because that's all my mind can handle right now. Probably best. I think that when you try to bring religion into it, you're never going to win the conversation, no matter what. Like I said earlier, 3 arguments you'll never win.
But it shouldn't
everybody's going to have a different view.
Competition, should it? Like, it should be just like coexistence means that you believe what you believe, I believe what I believe, and there's no reason for us to have conflict over that.
Like my family had Protestant and Catholic backgrounds growing up, but we never practiced. I mean, if there was a Christmas where my sister said she wanted to go to church and we abided, but like growing up in Winnipeg, like I had friends who were Catholics, and we do a hangout video game night, sleep over on the weekends. We'd wake up on a Sunday morning and he'd say, do you want to come with me to church? It's, I gotta go. And I'd go, and my parents didn't judge or anything like that, because it was just, hey, if you want to go get culturally enriched, you be our guest. But nobody ever made a discussion of religion, or talked about views of religion, or someone's right to religion. It just was unheard of. And I just don't understand, like, even in that decade, or those decades of the 80s and 90s coming into the 2000s, I was always told it was impolite to talk about politics, to talk about religion. And now it's just everywhere. So what I don't understand is, where did it cross the line for people to say, yeah, I'm good to talk about it now?
I think when they decided to segment and separate people, anything that separates you, whether it's by belief, by race, creed, country of origin, anything that makes you any differences are all being grouped into little groups because it's segregation, is division. It's division of the most like malicious, sneaky, manipulative, sly kind. They think that we're all coming together to fight all these injustices when really each group is just another divided part of what should be a whole if we were healthy. We're not healthy.
Bliss and Chains, we've made to integrate with them versus vice versa. Thank you for the super chat. Sue with the $10 for Texas. It's wonderful to see Celtic Canuck return. We've missed her insight and wisdom. I can't agree more. Thank you for the $10 for Texas. Kenny gifting one unacceptable Fringe membership to the Patriots Club. Thank you. Chad with another $10 for Texas. YouTube is so biased. I had to increase the tip to 200 to send my last comment. I'm saddened that I supported the YouTube machine, yet I supported you. Look, Chad, I appreciate it. You've been so generous tonight. Yeah, they got some things to work on for sure, but I do appreciate that. Thank you. Mike TV Dub, $10 for Texas as well. Last night, for Texas flood relief, here's my contribution. I appreciate that so much. Becky becoming a member of the Patriots Club as well. Thank you guys. You guys are on fire tonight. Absolutely amazing.
Nice to meet you too, Kathy.
We have Kathy coming in with $10 for Texas. Glad to meet you, Celtic. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, guys. Here's the topic of tonight's stream that I wanted to get into now that we're talking about all of this. I think, and I said this during the pandemic, that I think that you can only push an animal into a corner so much before it strikes back. You know what I mean? Like if you had a scared mountain lion, we'll say, and it was, scared of a human being, and the human pushed it to a corner, at some point it's going to swipe.
Survival instinct.
It's going to start coming back. Yeah. So I said during the pandemic, long before the Freedom Convoy, when they were bursting into people's homes in Quebec and arresting people at Christmas, when they were, kicking people out of stores, even though they had medical exemptions.
Where's your humanity?
The curfews. Right? The curfews in Montreal. I said at some point, people are going to slap back, right? They're going to get pushed into the corner too far, and we're going to see pushback. And eventually it happened. We saw the Freedom Convoy. And the Freedom Convoy really sent a message as thousands of people parked their trucks on the government's front lawn. But I think that what you're going to see now is something different from the federal election. I think that you had all these liberal boomers who came out in support of Mark Carney, in support of their portfolios, their investments, to say, we believe in Carney to tackle Trump, orange man bad. And since then,
But why Orange Man bad? They don't even know why they hate him. And the reasons that they give you are usually bullshit that was made up in order to win an election that isn't even true.
Well, it's all hearsay and nonpartisan issues. It's I don't like his take on women, or I don't like that he had a beauty pageant, or
I don't like date him.
But it's what does that have to do with running a country? The problem is that since the federal election now, you see other provinces besides Alberta talking about packing up and leaving. You're seeing the whole country dissolve. And now they've still shown that they've kept the door open. Doug Ford had to backtrack the other day that he was going to give fast track to 100,000 asylum seekers to get jobs in this country.
Is he walked that back? I thought he was starting to.
He walked it back within hours. Because
and I've got a bone to pick with Danielle Smith over that one as well, because she said she showed him a clause that allowed him to do that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Danielle. Thank you.
I don't know the whole story on that one, especially since, I've spoken with Danielle, and Danielle had said, she shut the door on immigration to the federal government and said, we don't want them. Like the whole Alberta was calling things.
Is it that easy?
People. It wasn't. Yeah. So I don't know really what's going on there, but what I'm getting at is that when you look at the attack on religion, when you look at provinces dissolving and saying it's time to go, you see the civil unrest in this country now. Interest rates have spiked. They've just announced that they're going up. We've got Mark Carney on vacation, refusing to do anything. Every time we hear from Carney or any premier who's jumping in to block any projects in this country, it's, we've all talked, we all agree we have answers, or we all agree that we're going to get projects. It's all talk and no action. So I think at some point very soon.
That video? Oh, who was it? Oh. He was describing how he used to be the advisor to Boris Johnson. And he was describing how there's something called the chairman's notes. So when you see all these politicians go into Downing Street, which is the Prime Minister's office in England, when you see other ministers go into there, we're going to have a meeting, it's going to be very productive. They go in there, and whoever the Prime Minister is, say Keir Starmer, he's already been given what's called chairman's notes. And he opens this thing up, and the whole meeting notes are already written before the meeting took place.
Really?
There is a video where he's describing it. Oliver.
Let me see.
Put in chairman's notes.
Let me see
UK,
if I can find that.
In Twitter, and you'll probably find it. But the point being that Starmer's not making any of the decisions. He's been handed a package that tells him, he actually sits down and reads it like a script. Thank you for joining the meeting, everybody. We are going to talk about this now. And the thing is, many other people around that room have been handed their own packages from their own handlers and are responding from the script. Thank you for inviting us to this meeting. We are looking forward to discussing this. And then they come out of that meeting, for which the meeting notes have already been written. And then the press asks, how does it go? And they say, we had a very productive meeting and we are very hopeful we'll be able to solve this crisis. We are working hard for the people. It's a theater.
It's all a show. I mean, somebody keeps quoting in my comment section George Carlin saying it's exclusive club or whatever.
It's one big club and you ain't in it.
Yeah.
We all love
Let me get to Marianne really quick. $5 super chat. Just did a family history and found out that we are Métis and a wee bit of Scottish. Or I don't think that's Métis. It's Met.
Just a wee bit.
Or maybe it's Métis. I'm gonna apologize in advance, but a wee bit Scottish. The name that came up was twat. Okay.
Twat.
Is there a proper pronunciation? I'm not going to get into that.
Well,
but
I think the technical pronunciation is a part of the female anatomy. That
I would think so. It is a word often used over in that part
I've
of the
used
world.
it a few myself when I'm driving.
My wife uses it daily. Chad, being a Chad again, $10 for Texas. I retired 2 years ago at 46.
The Chad.
Well, congratulations, retiring at 46. My God. So they will not scare me. It made me mad that I could not send a message till I selected 200. I'm not political yet. Now I will die for freedom.
Well, you can't live without it, can you?
I appreciate that, Chad. Kevin Hall, $10 for Texas. I like Texas. Here's $10. The Liberals will never get their filthy paws on. I appreciate that. We got Lori with a $14 super chat. I was in Ottawa for the 3 weeks, and it really opened my eyes as to how corrupt the government really is. Tell me about it. I think we're at a point. Sorry, what was that? What was the thing you wanted me to look up? The notes?
Chairman's notes. I think it was Oliver. Second name, I think, began with a C. He was an advisor to Boris Johnson. Let me do a wee look myself and see if I can come up with a thing here. Chairman's notes. Boris. Let's have a wee tap here and see what we can. He was Dominic Cummings.
Dominic Cummings?
Chairman's notes. Look that up on Twitter. And there is an actual short video where he's describing exactly how it goes down. It's like that Dave Chappelle clip. Have you ever seen that clip of Dave Chappelle when he's talking about Trump coming out of the White House and saying, everything you think we are doing in there, we are doing in there? And then he goes back in there. That's what this video felt like.
Okay, Chairman's notes, Boris Johnson.
No, search Dominic Cummings, because he's the one who describes it. He was the advisor to Boris Johnson.
Dominic Cummings?
Yes. Cummings.
Media, maybe?
There is a video on X. Let me see if I can find it.
Because I don't... Like, I see Dominic Cummings talking, but I don't see anything on the chairman's notes.
It could be the right one.
Cummings isn't as clever as he thinks he is in his deeply traitorous character. No one with a brain will ever work with him in any capacity, says an article on the,
they don't like
Telegraph.
saying that sort of thing.
Either way, it's it speaks volume. Like, I know somebody who used to work, a friend of mine, her brother was a speechwriter for Stephen Harper during the Harper days. And of course, we know that the speeches get written, but if they're already saying, here's what's going to happen, here's what people are going to get before they even get into meetings, like you say, it's all theater. Like, this is where, I do have some viewers in Alberta who, surprise, surprise, they don't like Danielle Smith. And they say that Danielle's not on the side of independence. She's just putting on a show. It's all stall tactics. But when you talk about chairman's notes,
found it
sometimes makes you wonder.
Found it.
Are you able to
admits that the UK's government's just a kind of stage theatre? I'm just looking for the share button. I feel old right now because I can't find it. Copy link. There you go. So I will put it across to you.
I'm not sure if it'll I don't think it'll let you put the link in the chat.
No. I put it in the other thing. The StreamYard thing.
Why is it not bringing up to me? It's only got my live chat.
There. I put it in the check your Discord.
It's in the Discord. Okay, give me 1 second. I got to get to some honorable mentions and then I'll pull that up. John Edmonds gifting 5 unacceptable Fringe memberships to the Patriots Club. Thank you so much. Let's take a look. Let me pull up the Discord.
I did indeed have it bookmarked.
I think that what we need to start seeing in Canada is a little bit of fair representation from those who claim to be on the side of democracy. Danielle Smith. I'd like to see her start to step up and say, okay, you know what? We're going to...
You know what? When she does step up, though, and say that, when she does get to the enough is enough with this crap stage, she can do so and look them in the eye and say, I tried with you. We tried the diplomacy way. And maybe that's what this is about, being able to say that. Then they can't say she's reactionary and aggressive. No, we tried.
Well, that's what I've been saying, is that if she puts on the whole, look, I've done everything I can. But I think that, again, with this latest premier's meeting that took place where she tried to put through a pipeline with Ford and Scott Moe, and then all of a sudden Manitoba jumped in and went, nope. And Mark Carney said, yeah, no, we're going to consult Indigenous. They have to approve everything or else we're not moving forward. I think that should just be the nail in the coffin for Danielle to say, look, I'm trying to work with you here. And every time we come to some kind of agreement,
eventually
you guys don't want to
start instituting deadlines. When she starts saying you have until this date to do this, we know it's begun.
So let's take a look at here we go about these claims. Let's take a look at this video here.
I'm sorry. What did one of the UK's most high-profile political strategists just say?
The cabinet is just a kind of stage theatre, and actually officials in the cabinet office have already decided it all.
I'm Bev Turner, and I hope you're sitting comfortably, because I think Dominic Cummings, the man who was chief advisor to Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, during 2019 to 2020, has just revealed that the deep state is running this country and that our political system is therefore a complete sham. I think that's what he just said.
The person in the... So if you think of two roles, right? The Foreign Secretary in Great Britain and the private secretary in the PM's office responsible for foreign affairs, an official whose name has never been in the newspapers. That person was like 10 times more powerful and important than the Secretary of State was. And I think this is something which people just don't really realize. And it's part of like how the whole system has become fake. So you have fake meritocracy, fake responsibility, and then fake cabinet government. So they all walk up Downing Street, the cameras whir, they pose, they smile, ha ha, I'm going into the most powerful meeting, aren't I great? But it's all nonsense. The cabinet is just a kind of stage theatre. And actually officials in the cabinet office have already decided it all. When you sit in Whitehall now, right, in meetings, they are literally scripted. So when the Prime Minister has a meeting with ministers, what happens is that before the Prime Minister has that meeting, officials go into the Prime Minister's study and they give him a folder. And in the folder at the front is a thing called Chairman's Notes. And that's the script. And that's what the Prime Minister reads out. And the conclusions for the meeting are in the chairman's notes, drafted before the meeting happens, right? So the Prime Minister says, hello, Secretary of State, blah, blah, blah. And then all these officials sit around the sides on chairs around the edge of the room. And then the MP, the Secretaries of State, all look down at their folders because they've all got their scripts, right? And this is why I use the NPC meme, right? Because then the Prime Minister reads out, well, we're here to discuss blah, blah, blah. And then he goes around the room, and then Secretary of State for Justice or the Foreign Secretary reads out his bullet points, and then he reads out their bullet points, and they read out. If anyone goes on a script, you see the officials sort of go, and then look over at the other official on the side of the room and kind of go, that means we'll come back to that after the meeting and make sure that that doesn't happen.
That's unbelievable. That is actually unbelievable. If that is in fact, now we're going to say that this is all hearsay for YouTube's sake. We
have no confirmation, and
we can't confirm nor deny.
It's not like the chief advisor of the Prime Minister would have any of this kind of knowledge or anything, of course.
But it definitely like what I'm thinking though is that at some point in time, like if these were the ways that Canada was behaving, if this is how our government is behaving when it comes to the old saying in the comment section, nothing's ever going to change. When do you think Canadians...
These people are actors.
But when do you think Canadians finally have enough? And what do you think an uprising means? Like, I'm certainly not going to condone violence or rioting.
No. See, I don't know. I don't want flaming pitchforks in the town square. I really don't. But it's almost like they refuse to give until it comes to that. And when it comes to that, they'll be shocked that it came to that, because the population has been so submissive to so long. Like, my goodness, they actually rose up. They'll be surprised. They have the nerve to actually be surprised if it goes that way. After everything they've put you through, they will be surprised. I don't want it to come to that. Obviously, no.
I'm the reason I bring it up is I'm almost curious in Alberta with the judge that's putting the hammer down on Mitch Sylvester's question for independence. If the court was to refuse that and say that can't move forward, like, what do you think would happen in Alberta with people that are pro-independence? And keep in mind, 78% of UCP supporters or UCP voters, meaning Danielle Smith's party, back independence. Like, what do you think that would mean in Alberta?
They are whittling us down to smaller and smaller political groups that can be more easily controlled and honestly, elections more easily manipulated. And by that, I obviously, for the sake of YouTube, I am not saying that cheating involved. Manipulation doesn't necessarily mean that. You manipulate the message, you manipulate the people. It's just as dishonest.
Mm-hmm.
We've been whittled down into these little groups, and it's a lot easier for them to control. Alberta is the lifeboat thing again. Alberta is a lifeboat. Saskatchewan's going to be another lifeboat. Eventually, Canada, the impact is going to be inevitable, and people are going to flood to those lifeboats. And those people may be saved. The rest? What? Your government's pretending to arrange the deck chairs, because they're not actually your government. If I could ask Mark Carney any two questions, it would be, and any leader, I would ask the same two questions that's doing this. Who told you to do this? And why did you say yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was with this?
Well, and that seems to be the biggest problem, that when you look at Mark Carney, like Moose on the Loose has shown, I think it's 96% of his blind trust assets are in U.S. companies. So it's all just like I've said it before, that the government's essentially the mob now. Like, it's just a racket for them to line their pockets. But what I can't fathom is,
realistically speaking, what other recourse do the people have? Like, you're asking?
None. There's none. And that's the problem, is that, I've spoken with guys on Pierre's team, not Pierre directly about this, but I've asked them, like, why are we not seeing politicians speak out against things like Senate reform or election reform? And they said, well, look at Trudeau. He ran on election reform. He didn't do anything about it. Why? It's
another way to
phrase
that same question is, who are you working for? Maybe that's a question you should ask them.
But they know that there's a line to be towed once you're in government. That
but
you
why?
don't
We need to
stray
get
off
rid of
the
that
tracks.
line. See, that's the problem. The tracks, the line shouldn't exist. That track is where the script comes from.
Well, the U.S. was lucky enough to get Donald Trump, a businessman who had no ties to politics, to come in and fix things.
Yeah, but he snuck in, though. You see, and this is the part of the problem as well. Like, every single politician, to a certain extent, I'm going to say it, my personal belief is that every single politician, to a certain extent, had to be corrupt to have any sort of success. Because the honest man who has integrity would be drummed out very quickly, because the dishonest people don't want to be reported and don't want to be stopped in their dishonesty. So it's hard for an honest man to rise through the ranks, because every single rung up that ladder, you are shaking hands and making deals and exchanging favors. And by the time you get to any sort of position of power, how many people do you owe favors to on what sides? Whereas Trump, the sneaky little bugger that he is, he's snuck in and sat right in the boss's chair. Yeah. He didn't shake any hands on the way up the ladder. He didn't have to do that slow pace of owing favors. And, that's how they got Trump.
Yeah.
A career politician can't do it, I don't think.
No. And I wish we could get the same thing in Canada. Sadly, I don't think we ever will.
We need a non-politician who's making sense, who will have the integrity to mean what they say, because anybody can say the words.
Well, and the power to get into the boss's chair, right? That's the
Trump
kicker.
did it. You should be an inspiration to us all. Trump shows that it can be done.
Well, hopefully somebody comes forward. I just don't think in Canada we'll
I wouldn't have thought this could be done. Like, when Trump won the first time, my jaw was on the floor. I wanted it, but
didn't think it was possible.
He actually won.
Yeah. Chad with a $5 super chat. My last comment was so wrong. Speak even 200. I could not post and look it up when I see it. Chad, I appreciate everything you've done tonight. Thank you so much. I'm really hopeful that YouTube fixes that, but thank you very much. Norman with the $2 super chat. Can I join you? Join what? The chat? No. You can join the chat in the chat. The live stream, no, unfortunately not. Portuguese Pie, $10 for Texas. I'm pretty sure that's how the House of Commons works too, isn't it? Don't they know the questions that are going to be asked? They usually have answers prepared, especially when you see them reading off the sheets. So I think that the politicians have their questions pre-printed so that they know exactly what they want to ask into what. Keep in mind that they probably have to formulate their questions a certain way for legality reasons. I'm sure that if they were to wrongfully point out something that was false with somebody in terms of not defamation, but it could be viewed similar to defamation, I'm sure they have to know a little bit about how they're structuring their questions. Again, this is just a guess that I'm making, but usually they do have their questions pre-written for things like question period. Norman with a $5 super chat. Again, 53 years old. We've been through all of this. Canada will not change. Can I please join? I will keep it civil. Oh, in the live stream. Yeah, no, we don't bring viewers in. We might do a call out show at some point.
Sorry to interrupt. I think it's awesome that people are wanting to join the conversation though. I think that's a great thing.
I think we need more of that in the country. People wanting to join the big conversations. One thing maybe we'll do on this show in the future is we'll have screens and we can start bringing some people in on Discord chat or do a call-in show or something. But this show, particularly tonight, unfortunately, we won't be bringing anybody in, but thank you for the super chat. We got $10 from Kenny for Texas. Thank you so much. Chad with another $5 super chat. I like you, Fringe, yet it will take 5 years to get a 50 plus 1%. I hope not, but I appreciate that, Chad. Chad being a Chad again. Thank you so much. Norman, $2. Okay, all good. I appreciate it, Norman. And I appreciate you. We'll try and get a call-in show going in the near future. Bliss and Chains, $10 for Texas. I wish everything west of Toronto could separate and leave Canada on GTA plus Ottawa. Most of Ontario went blue. We're tired of all the nonsense too. It feels so hopeless. It might need to move to Alberta. It's funny you say that because I had somebody from Ontario yell at me last week saying, like, you're always talking about Southern Ontario. Southern Ontario isn't the problem. It's Toronto. It's this and that. Like, when I'm talking about Southern Ontario, I'm talking about where the per capita votes matter to put our leaders in power.
You didn't write the electoral map. You just point out where it is.
and there are, what do we say, common sense voters in those areas, and I'm certainly not slapping down at those people. In fact, I said in a video, wouldn't it be nice if we could just take Toronto and Ottawa and just say everybody who wants out, get out. You know, you'll be, it's like an annex, like we'll pay you out for
we are renaming Canada to Alberta.
Yeah. So they're gonna separate. They can separate with Quebec. They can just leave. Anybody who wants out, you know, to stay a part of a reasonable Canada can get out. You'll even get a relocation bonus or something, or your costs covered. You know, in a perfect world, and they can have their own tiny little island country with Quebec, and the rest of us would be better off. I think that'd be better for all of us.
Save me a
sadly, it'll never happen. Snow with a $5 super chat. If we had an American style 2 reps per province's Senate, I think it would be a good start towards fixing this country, but it would never happen. You know, we'll never get the Electoral College.
No, anything that's going to disadvantage them is not going to happen.
No. And it's part of the reason why, you know, Pierre's guys say that you'll never find a politician who's going to come in, shake things up and say, let's talk about electoral reform. Let's talk about Senate seats. Let's talk about, it's political suicide.
Then we need to stop listening to politicians, clearly.
Well, and that's the problem, is that our country is controlled by the East, and it's a welfare state. You know, I seen somebody wearing a shirt the other day with a picture of Alberta, and it had a MasterCard logo on it, and it said Canada's credit card. It's, well, how true is that? That's all we seem to be taken for these days. Is, you know, when we like, what was it, Don Cherry? You like our milk and honey. You like when we're giving you the money, but anytime Alberta says, hey, we want a voice at the table, we're told shut up and go back to the kids' table. So, I mean,
it's so true though. Take, and then you want an opinion? Well, I don't know about
that. We're not going to have it. Let's how many likes are we at, folks? Let's do a recall of the likes here, and we'll turn it over to the chat. Let's go into some Q&A. Let's see if there's anything we've missed.
858, so close to a giveaway.
858. Are we only really 140 away? Come on, guys, get those 140 likes in. We'll do a giveaway. Throw in your Q&As. If there's anything you guys want us to look up or talk about, address in the stream. While we can't invite people into the stream, this is a definite way to keep you guys involved. Let's go through some Q&A, and then we'll wrap up the stream. Hopefully we can hit that 1,000 tonight. Let's see here. I'll give it a second for the chat to get motivated to think about their questions. Brandy saying, actually, the treaty's being upheld when we separate, and things would actually be good for them for a change. I must have missed part of the conversation on that one. Bliss in Chains, $2 super chat. My riding in Southwest Ontario is very blue. I vote separation. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. John B. Derek, that judge that put the hold on Alberta trying to separate, some article that I was reading earlier. So, John, so I kind of touched on that earlier. The judge is irrelevant in this. APP, I will be doing a video formally on it, but they sent me an email this afternoon. They're headed to court next Thursday, so a week tomorrow, with Eva Chipiuk, amongst other lawyers, to discuss fast tracking to get their question approved. Again, I'll have more details in my video. I don't want to misquote anything. But hang in there. I do have some information coming on that. Chad with a $5 super chat. The maple tree cannot grow in Alberta. The flag is not Alberta. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let's find some questions for the Q&A. Do we really not have any questions in the Q&A? Rebel Angel saying, I can't believe Eva was debanked. Some people said that had to do with Bitcoin or something. I don't care what it has to do with, unless you're breaking terms of service with your bank.
Also, it's kind of ballsy to debank a lawyer.
To debank a lawyer? I think Eva's going after Dean Blundell as well. I think Dean made some slanderous remarks to her. Oh, here we go. Here's Blue with a question. Celtic, maybe you can shine in on this one. Do you think there's ties between US and Canada Liberals?
Absolutely. Is do you know, is it not Tucker Carlson that says that Justin Trudeau is Gavin Newsom's cousin?
I don't know if they're related. I've heard things about that for a while. Let me take a look at that. Let's look into that.
I think everybody of that bent on that side I mean, even in Europe, it extends all over the world. Everybody on the left, and it's not even the left. They're pretending to be on the left. The left is what's being used to enact the agenda. But everybody who's a part of that globalist agenda, they're all connected.
You know what? I'm not even going to look through Google anymore. I can't you googly things. Let's just ask.
Ooh,
Grok.
Xylo, just ooh.
What did Xylo? Xylo's always snapping off. Here's but I appreciate Xylo. Xylo's been here from the beginning. Xylo's pretty much been here from the start of Unacceptable Fringe.
Oh, we're almost at 1,000 likes for a free
almost
thing.
there, guys. So as for Grok, there is no evidence to suggest that Trudeau and Gavin Newsom are cousins or otherwise related by family. Public records, genealogical information, and credible sources do not indicate any family connection between the two.
That must be just a joke he makes. I always wondered when he makes that joke, is that actually true? I'm glad to know.
Yeah, it says comparisons usually arise due to their similar political profiles. Both are described as charismatic. I don't think so.
Really? By who?
Yeah. Ugly libs. Any references to them as cousins in media or online discussions appear to be rhetorical, emphasizing their political similarities rather than an actual family tie. What about Castro? Well, that's a whole nother ball game, Brandy. That's
senior or junior?
Castro Senior and Castro Junior, I guess, who just left Parliament Hill. What do we got here? Miss Danny, question. Just curious, views on who will win the Crowfoot riding. Pierre's going to win, I think. What about you, Celtic? You think maybe there's a chance Pierre won't win it?
Honestly, there were other appealing candidates there. Like there were, but I think ultimately Poilievre should. Like he should. I would expect Poilievre to win it, but I've expected Poilievre to win other things, and that didn't happen. So, but there were some half decent. Some no. You know what? One. Let's not get excited.
You think? Do you think it's
well?
man?
Honestly, Grant Abram didn't. But there was a couple of things I didn't like, but for the most part, like yeah, and the Heritage Party of Canada, Christian Heritage Party, made some excellent points.
What about Bonnie Critchley? Do you think she could beat Pierre in the election?
I was looking for her, and I could see this guy in a cowboy hat, and I'm wondering which one's Bonnie Critchley, and then I was so taken aback. And like, okay, all right, we're going that way. But
she definitely had bigger testes than Trudeau.
She did. No, do you know what? She did say some of the right things. She really did. But
I
kind
of felt like
on Pierre. You know what I mean? The lights hit that polish and just blinded everybody else.
I kind of felt like she was like Naheed Nenshi 2.0. Like she was there just to finger point. Like she wasn't talking policy. She wasn't talking about anything. She just said, I'm just here to represent my neighbors, but didn't bring anything to the table worth noting. It was just Pierre's the bad guy. And I'm here because, we need somebody who lives here, even though she's only lived there for a year, apparently. Like she hasn't been there very long. A.W. Bennett, $10 super chat for Texas. Texas needs some cowbells. How? We need some cowbell.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
More cowbell. Not only that, Mike Freedom Honey chiming in OSB for the win. I don't know if OSB is going to win, Mike, but I appreciate it.
Do you know, it might just get some votes now that you can write them in. I'm curious to see how many votes OSB actually wins. I have this vision of a piece of wood sitting in that chair.
Careful, because you know what's going to happen is now a lot of people are going to go there and write OSB, and then guys like Northern will turn around and yell at me and say, oh, look, Derek screwed the by-election by talking about OSB. Damn that unacceptable Fringe. Gerald Cooper, hey, Derek, I talked to a guy today. He said he voted independent. If the CPC and OSA would be more, do you think that'll happen? I don't think so. I don't think that'll happen. I could be wrong. I'm happy to be proven wrong.
Sorry, what was that question?
Somebody was going to vote independent if the Conservative Party Canada and the OSA would be more? Like, I guess combined.
Bonnie Critchley is the independent. I mean, her opening statement, if I remember right, was the Conservative Party has lost its way.
Well, the Conservative Party's lost its way, but I put that on the back of Jenny Byrne.
No,
She's
I just mean
elections.
that in the sense that she's pitting herself directly against them.
Oh, well.
As a strategy. You got to separate yourself. Otherwise, you may as well vote Conservative. If him and I are going to say the same things about the same policies, then I need to distinguish myself somehow. So her opening statement was that the Conservative Party's lost its way, and basically she wants her voice to say your words instead of all the fancy slogans that Pierre Poilievre comes out with, which was her talking.
Ingrid Stewart's asking, Celtic, do you cover any House of Commons question period? I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say no at this point because you've been banned out of YouTube.
Well, no, I'm banned from. I am no longer allowed under the red play button. There is a green play button I'm looking at, but I am no longer allowed under the red play button.
So the green meanie may be the.
Yeah, I'm not like you. Don't say it because they don't like you talking about the things.
Like
they want to get you in trouble there, Derek.
It rhymes with apple crumble.
Protect the fringe.
It's
you're like Braveheart. Hold.
Yeah. hold. Chad, the $5 Chad super chat again. Lizard people, Newsom and Trudeau will never be related. Trudeau's dad lives in Cuba. He doesn't live anymore.
Reptilian.
He's not. He doesn't live in Cuba anymore. He's probably buried there, but I don't think he lives there.
Gavin Newsom absolutely reminds me of the guy in American Psycho. 100%.
Brandy saying, what poll did you quote last week that we are now at a 48% of the separation vote? Just Google Alberta Separation poll. You should find it's an Angus Reid poll. I don't have it in front of me, Brandy, but it's important to note that in that poll article, it does state that roughly 78% of UCP voters, and that was what I was pointing out in that article, support independence. Now, keep in mind that the UCP voters are the ones who are giving Danielle Smith her mandate. They're also controlling the vote in Alberta. So if they're supporting it, how people don't take it a little more seriously at that point is beyond me. But a lot of people go, well, you're just at 48%. That's not a big deal. And it's there's a silent majority you're not including there. I think that you guys should be worried about. But you can't win them all.
We need 32 likes, people. And then somebody in this room gets a little something, something.
Well, we got to make it quick. Snow with a $5 super chat. The guy in the cowboy hat at the debate last night looked more like Bonnie than the actual Bonnie. might be a lass. I'm not so sure. I thought that was Bonnie's nephew. That's what I kept calling him because they were both wearing their cowboy hats, sitting next to each other. Wasn't that guy? I can't remember his name, but because that's how memorable he is. But wasn't he with Libertarians? I think he was with the Libertarian Party. Mike Freedom Honey, another reason to vote OSB. Mike, you got to stop poisoning the well with OSB. Okay.
Michael Harris was the Libertarian. He was.
Yeah, that's the guy in the cowboy hat.
He spoke with confidence. He really did. He was not a bad speaker at all, and it makes a difference because honestly, the PPC guy, the words coming out of his mouth, I would agree with, but his delivery was not great.
Mm-hmm. The Jonathan, whatever his name was, with the beard, I kept calling him the soy jack. That guy, like, even at the end of the debate, he says, "Well, I really have nothing to. I don't know what to say." It's like, but you're running. Shouldn't you have talking points? Shouldn't you have, like, that's where I said that our political system's a joke. The fact that these people were invited to a stage to waste over 2 hours of people's time.
It was like the teacher just called on them to make them read part of a book and they weren't expecting it.
Yeah, let's have a mock election and see if you guys can play the part.
And then Pierre stood up like bloody Laurence Olivier. You know what I mean? He had all the, you know, the book.
It's an easy skate for Pierre. The only way Pierre doesn't win at this point is if it's sabotage, as far as I'm concerned. Aaron Morrison, $2 super chat. OSB vote in LMAFO just because. See, look what Mike's doing. Now he's got people voting ESB or OSB. Lisa, sorry if this is blunt, but Canadians need to stand together or live on their knees. Well, that's part of what we were talking about earlier, that at some point in time, we're going to have to see some form of an uprising. I really don't. And when I say uprising, I'm not talking about violence. We're just saying that at some point in time, Canadians are going to have to get pushed so far into the corner. They're going to say, all right, it's time to strike back. Like, we can't do this anymore. We can't play this game. Not everybody has the ability to vote for independence or even push for it. So you're going to get people into a corner at some point that are going to say enough is enough. Are we really at 985?
Something's got to give.
We're hitting the 130 mark, guys. I'm going to give it another 15 seconds to get to that. To get to that 1,000 likes. If we don't get to those 1,000 likes, we can't do a giveaway, folks. What do you guys think of the stream? Do you guys like Unhinged Fringe? Next week, keep in mind, we're getting our second co-host, third talking head on the channel. My dear friend Matt will be joining the stream. Matt Veldkamp joining us alongside Celtic Canuck. That's going to be our weekly show. All three of us in here talking the same stuff, talking a little bit more of what we don't typically talk about on Friday nights. OAO, more memes. No, those are saved for Fridays. Friday's the fun hangout. This is more the cutting room floor and kind of talking about what we think you guys want us to talk about, things we want to talk about.
Let's have a wee chit chat.
A little chat. And Miss Danny saying we need the Canuck. Happy to hear that. One thing I keep telling people about my buddy Matt, a lot of people say he looks like Alex Jones, and he doesn't mean Alex Jones impression, but he knows a lot about politics. In fact, he's a little more technical on the politics than I am. He knows he knows more global politics as well as the inner workings of our government in and out. So he's a lot more detailed in his knowledge. I think people are going to really
Alex
enjoy
Jones.
him. Yeah, he definitely knows about all the frogs going gay.
Yeah, I've been watching Alex Jones, but I first heard of him back in the day with the Bohemian Grove and the cremation of care thing. He snuck into the rich people's little campsite there and filmed some stuff. Was that the 80s? It was a long time ago.
Yeah, I really like Alex. I think he's fun to watch sometimes, at least. Snow, this is a great idea, and adding Celtic Canuck was an inspired choice. I think this show is going to be great because of the Celtic Canuck. I think it's great to have her back again.
Oh, stop
I'm glad. No, I'm glad you have a voice here. It's like we've known each other for a couple of years now. Like, I think it was around the time I said I was thinking about.
You were running for mayor.
Running into the mayor's
I
position.
wanted you to run for mayor. I even made you a video. I'm like, get out there, run for mayor.
It was a fantastic video. But we've been talking ever since, and I know I was really upset when I heard you got kicked off of YouTube, and I know we've been working hard to find a solution. I'm glad we found a solution by doing this. Snatch is yelling at us to do a giveaway. I guess we hit those 1,000 likes, eh? Let's get the giveaway going before we head out. First off, I want to thank everybody for their super chats tonight, their memberships, their gifted memberships, all the participation. Again, I'll have a total on Friday for what is being donated to the Texas flood victims. I will be matching up to $5,000, as well as donations of sponsor money, merchandise, books. It's all going to a good cause, folks. What is OSB? It's a sheet of wood that's running in against Pierre Poilievre.
It's doing quite well.
Ask Mike Freedom Honey. He's organizing that campaign, apparently. In order to win the draw, folks, you have to be in the stream. You have to let me know you're still in the stream. I'm running the randomizer now. Look at that. I'm almost glad this got drawn from all of his support tonight. Chad, is Chad still in the stream? I swear, it was completely random, folks. Is Chad still in the stream? Chad is our winner of the draw tonight, not OSB. I know Mike's chanting for OSB. OSB didn't win the giveaway.
That would have been awesome if it did.
Where's Chad at? I'm trying to see if Chad's still in here. Hang on. We got 7 Corpse Meal, $20 super chat. Great to see you back, Celtic. Miss the calming voice. A lot better than mine. I do got to admit. It's good. Hey, there's Chad. He's still here. Good. Chad,
yay.
Congratulations. You're tonight's winner. I'm so glad that Chad won tonight because he's been so generous tonight. He might as well get something for all of the donations. Keep in mind, guys, we're going to be doing more giveaways as other streams continue. Again, I typically like to do the 1,000 likes. We do the giveaway. Infinity, thank you for the $2.79 super sticker. So Chad, what to do, head to one of my videos, because I don't think the shop button is linked in the stream. Usually Mrs. Fringe types this stuff. So give me a second. You have 24 hours, sir. Head over to one of our videos, hit the shop button, go into our shop, pick any item that you wish. It can be a hoodie, hat, t-shirt, whatever you like. Get a screenshot if you can. Send me an email over at unacceptablefringeyt@gmail.com. So Unacceptable Fringe YouTube, unacceptablefringeyt@gmail.com. Give me, if you can, a screenshot of the item you want, the size, as well as all of your shipping information. If you can't get a screenshot, make sure you get a detailed description of the item, the color, size that you want, if it's a clothing piece. And again, your complete shipping information. I will place that order as soon as possible and have that sent out to you pronto. Again, big shout out and congratulations to Chad. And thank you to everybody who's helped out tonight on the stream. I do have to give a shout out to Ange for the $5 super chat. Love the new show, Derek. Welcome back, Celtic Canuck. We missed you. Snow with $2. Will Celtic Canuck be doing videos here or just the stream? Unfortunately, for now, it's just the stream. I'm gonna see over time.
I am
maybe
not permitted to upload videos. So
yeah,
I am simply a co-host.
Yeah, we've brought Celtic back as a co-host so that she still has a voice on the platform. YouTube's got rules about bans and ban evasions and how those work. So as a co-host, Celtic is allowed to be here. So for now, at least, it'll be as a co-host. Maybe we can work something out in the future. We'll see. We'll see how things go and what kind of motivation Celtic's got as time moves on, or what we could offer. A lot of things to be worked on.
Maybe YouTube will watch and think, you know what? She ain't that bad.
We should bring her back. Never say never, folks. But again, I want to thank everybody who came out tonight. It's been a wonderful show. I really had a blast talking with you. Congratulations to Chad again. Thank you to everybody who participated in tonight's stream. Whether you hit the like button, whether you comment afterwards, share it out with friends, or contributed towards Texas flood relief. I appreciate you coming back. Thank you for all the kind remarks for Celtic Canuck. Welcoming her back. It's great to have her on the Fringe. I think she's going to enjoy her time here. I know on my part and for Celtic, I thank you guys for coming out. I hope you have a great night. Is there anything else you want to add, Celtic?
Just, it's been great to be here, and thank you everybody for watching. See a lot of familiar names there I haven't seen for a while, so it's really good to see you guys again. I hope you come back next week.
Absolutely.
I'll see you then.
I'm looking forward to it. Again, we'll have our third host joining us next week as well, folks. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Looking forward to it. Don't forget to still join me Friday night for Friday Night Fringe with Mrs. Fringe. She'll be here, and we'll still be doing the regular shows as well. Just a little bit more content for you guys now this way, and I think it's great. I think we're going to have a great time. From myself, Celtic Canuck, and all of us here at Unacceptable Fringe, thanks for joining us tonight, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care.
Have a good night, guys.